Thanos Fractured Frontier has blown the Marvel Snap metagame wide open. If you want to see the best decks players are using with Thanos Fractured Frontier, or if you're against Thanos Fractured Frontier and want to see top decks that don't involve him, this is the video for you. And stay tuned because I'm going to talk about how one viewer can win a season pass completely free. Hey, what's up everybody? Kicker of Elves here. Hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you're at. Welcome back to Marvel Snap Meta Shenanigans, the weekly show where with the assistance of Untapped Premium data, we take a look at the most popular and meta-defining decks in Marvel Snap, as well as conduct an analysis of the current season pass cards and two most recent Series 5 releases. You're going to leave this video every week with a nice understanding of what's going on in the Marvel Snap metagame and whether or not the recent releases are worth your hard-earned tokens or cash. This was the first episode we're doing of this in the August 2026 season, and unless you haven't played the game at all, you're very much aware that the meta has been defined by the new season pass card Thanos Fractured Frontier. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today because so much of we're first and foremost, we're going to be looking at data from player rank 90 to infinite. 90 is when the bots start dropping off a ton. The person who runs Snap Complete posted something recently where it's like, I forget the exact drop off, but it was something like 30% of the matches they tracked in the 70s were bots, then like 15 or like 11% in the 80s, maybe it was 20, but then it drops like 5% in the 90s. Since we're still very early on, you know, we're less than 1 week into the season, do want to keep the 90 bracket in there to just give us a better and more accurate sample size. But eventually we will just start looking at infinite only data, looking at player collection level 16,000 plus, and we're sorting by game count. So these are the most commonly played decks. These are what you're going to see out in the ladder. We don't typically do this, but today we're going to look at decks that first have Thanos Fractured Frontier, aka Thanos 2, aka Thanos with a gun, aka Gunnos, aka Gun Thanos. I prefer just going with Thanos too. We're going to look at those decks, then we're going to look at the top decks without Thanos. So let's dive right into it. The most popular deck in the game right now is with Thanos, just in general, is the one that's in the game client. No surprise, Thanos Fractured Frontier he's everywhere. It is constant mirror matches. This was cooked up by Alex Kocha, who I absolutely love. Been listening to Snapchat since day one. I think he is the best of the larger content creators, and in my mind is like the face of Marvel Snap content creation. But that all being said, I don't think you should be playing this deck. Yes, it has a great win rate, but I think the Quicksilver Domino Wiccan stuff is bait. I think this is going to be phased out longer term. Karen Page is extremely cope here. I think that as the metagame evolves, this is going to be seen as less and less of a reasonable approach. I do think if you were like if you have these cards, like this deck's obviously not terrible. It's very good, but threading in my personal opinion here, when I say like it's cope, it's kind of like, I don't know, like let's say you're talking about your favorite album of all time. In that album, there's going to be the songs that you absolutely love and the songs that you love less than that. So like, this is kind of comparing like, you know, I love Thanos Fractured Frontier. This is talking about like what I feel is a worse version of a very good archetype. But you do Quicksilver Domino, yes, you guarantee the quick draws, but you're also decreasing the chance you're going to get Thanos. Wiccan, while being a good copy card, is still just not the best way you can play this. I think the two best ways you can play this are, just skipping ahead here, is this version from Smiles, the more traditional Thanos combo list with Show Lao, which is trying to do, it has all the mid-range stuff. You have enough one costs in here that you're not going to be bricking your 1 and 2 draws to hit your quick draws for the most part here. You know, you're running 5 one costs, but you're not playing Quicksilver Domino, which are two terrible cards. I do think that the Jane Foster stuff, the Venus stuff, that's fine. The Drax stuff is okay, but like Karen Page, Galactus First Steps, you really don't. This is not going to be the way the archetype is considered. If you're saying elves, like, hey, like I don't have like, you know, I don't have Shola, I don't have Lunas, I don't have all the other stuff to make this kind of deck, or the Techno-Organic Virus version that you see over here. I don't have these cards. I just want to play Thanos. Like what do? Then yeah, obviously go for this. I will say, as the metagame continues to evolve and people are adapting to Thanos mirrors or playing decks that beat Thanos 2, This version is much more appealing to me. Doing the blink stuff, having Cosmo Juggernaut to stop Scorpion deck. Scorpion, at the time of recording this Saturday evening, Cam Best has just released a video highlighting the Scorpion Brand New Day combo deck as the premier deck to beat Thanos Fractured Frontier. So having tech cards to deal with things like that, like Cosmo ruins their day. You have priority play a Cosmo, or they have Scorpion Brand New Day. That's kaput. Same thing with Juggernaut. So of these two Wiccan variations, I think number 2 over here, which has essentially the same stats, is the way to go if you're going to do that. This is the list I used to hit Infinite for the most. I played the vast majority of my games with this over here. I think it's absolutely incredible. The Show Lao backup plan. The Wong stuff is cheeky, and it's not the same as copying your Mother Ascani or your Star-Lord or your Fing Fang Foom. But if you do get into a situation where you have Thanos fully loaded, or you've got the reality shot and the soul shot and the space shot, the one that lets you move, you're going to make 3 Wongs. You're going to copy all those effects that come after the reality shot, which is every other thing. You're going to destroy every card on their side of the board. You're going to move Thanos and get a bunch of power. And if you have the draw a bunch of cards and reduce a bunch of costs, you're reducing the cost of your hand and drawing a bunch of cards. It's phenomenal. I will say, Smiles did swap out Agony for Submariner in the version that he covered on his deck guide over at Snap Academy YouTube, so worth considering there. Last one I'll talk about here is I do enjoy how they're like called Jane Foster Fractured Frontier. I just wanted to flag that. Is this Techno-Organic Virus version? Candidly, I haven't seen a single person run this deck, so maybe it's just my MMR bracket. I'm in like the top 150 Infinite right now. Not like, ooh, look at me, I'm the best player ever. Not going for that, but just like maybe this is more common for people who are lower collection level. Although if you're a lower collection level and someone told you to buy Monstro, I'm sorry, someone led you astray. But yeah, this is totally acceptable. I don't think Techno-Organic Virus is the direction for Thanos Fractured Frontier. One list that's not in here, I'm going to just try to scroll and see if I can see it. Is this one over here. I've been playing a lot of this list and really liking it. This is the Kraglin version. I think over time, like, although I've had Negasonic instead of Juggernaut, but I think Juggernaut might be the right call. This version is less like, if you don't like the Show Lao, like always playing onesie twosie, this is a more, not mid-range, but there's just like a lot of packages in here. This is the first list that Kraglin's ever felt good in my opinion, because if you have Thanos in your hand, or if you're just playing Kraglin out on 3, if you play him out on 3 and you hit Thanos, you retreat for 1 if they snap you. But otherwise, you are digging through your deck. You're getting rid of the Nico you don't want to draw. You want to, every Thanos 2 deck wants to hit Thanos. It needs to do that. So Kraglin actually doing that and then giving you the +2 energy, which you want your Juggernaut or Wilson Fisk, but hitting any of the lower cost cards and turning into a 3/9 is awesome. So yeah, those my thought on Thanos 2. Let's jump over into some non-Thanos decks. The Scorpion Brand New Day list is incredible at dealing with Thanos 2. Swapping out Rogue for Psylocke too, Fractured Frontier if you have her, just to really lean in on the energy sheet. I also think we are cutting Luke Cage for Sarah. I think the version that KM posted is very, very good. Straight up Techno-Organic Virus over here. It's good, it's fine. I just think, like, if you're looking at this, if you're watching this video and you've got 20k tokens or whatever, and you're gonna say, okay, I've found this and I want to use this set of data I want to buy one competitive deck. You shouldn't be getting Monstro. You shouldn't be getting Tarantula. Those cards are fine, but they're only kind of going in this deck. Like, even going back over to the Thanos decks for a second here, like cards like Venus, cards like if Juggernaut was a Series 5 card, you should absolutely buy them. Cards like Luna Snow, cards like Surge. These are ones that have applicability in a lot of different archetypes and just have more flexibility than like Tarantula and Monstro. People have been trying to do some ramp with the advent of Psylocke Fractured Frontier, even though she isn't in this particular list. I think, yeah, ramp is a fine deck. I do not... do we really call this ramp? It's sort of ramp. Like, it's got your Electro. It's really doing the, like... I never quite know what to call these because like ramp isn't fully accurate. Like the Jubilee Dragon Lord, like this is just missing an Ensaba Nur to really do it. The like play cards that rotate, play cards that have like weak stats, like your 4/1 Jubilee and your 5/5 Dragon Lord to try to pull big guys out of your hand or out of your deck. That sort of stuff is pretty cool, and there's a little bit less Stardust running around now that we're out of the release week of, what's it called? Sinister Six. Straight up Aurora is fine. I played a Thanos 2 Aurora list. Like this is still a very respectable game or respectable deck. People still doing Galacti, a lot of stuff out there. So there's options. Obviously, Thanos Fractured Frontier is everywhere, so you need to be prepared to answer and just really deal with that card if you want to climb right now. And if you don't want to play Thanos Fractured Frontier, I think the best list at dealing with him right now is the Scorpion Brand New Day deck. As those lists adapt, if these Thanos lists, like if this list over here cuts Jane Foster, if a lot of people don't have Jane Foster in the spring for the Super Premium Pass and throw in a Mobius, then all of a sudden this list is in trouble. So with that, let's dive into some card analysis here. Psylocke Fractured Frontier is our most recent Series 5 card release. I don't want to put too much stock in the like the win rate stats because we are pre-90s. There 5% is still a decent amount of bot games, juicing things with 8 cubes, juicing win rates. But this card's super good. 30% popularity. A lot of people pick this up. This card I had said was probably like a 9 out of 10. I think maybe over time, because she doesn't go in the Thanos decks. Thanos, we'll talk about him in a moment, but Thanos, most people probably thought Psylocke was going to be the best card that came out this week, and that was not the case, but she's still amazing. I think again, people are running her in the Coach deck. People are running her in, I think this is like a spin on the W list. I don't think this list is very good over here with Silver Surfer First Steps and Karen Page. Karen Page, just don't spend 6,000 tokens on Karen Page to play this list. For the love of God, please don't do that. Because it's just not worth it. Like this is a flash in the pan type thing. It's great because you're doing Quicksilver, Domino, and you have a ton of 3 costs. Like as a curve out, it makes sense. But this is a deck that is being heavily propped up by Thanos Fractured Frontier. And I think the logic is sound of like, what if we didn't have to run any low cost cards, but we still guarantee our quick draw? Great, but you still absolutely need to draw. Doing that is placing even more of a stressor onto drawing and playing Thanos Fractured Frontier on 5 because you have lost 2 draws to guarantee that you're able to load those 2 quick draw shots without running up a bunch of lower cost cards. You are now 2 draws less likely to get Thanos Fractured Frontier. I don't love it. But Psylocke Fractured Frontier, if you have the tokens, absolutely a card you should pick up. Last week's card, just to keep with the consistency, don't want to spend too much time. Sinister Six. This was a card that everyone had super low expectations. 5.3% popularity this season. People are still playing it. This is not a card. Here's some lists. People are still doing. People found a way to get him into Thanos. This Strange Supreme stuff is fine with a double Thanos Sinister Six. I think this is a little bit of like a trying to put 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag situation, but it's fine. If you're trying to decide whether or not I should get Sinister Six or Psylocke Fractured Frontier, or Jane Foster with tokens trying to roll on the seasonal packs, don't get Sinister Six. But if these sorts of lists look appealing to you and their insanity, go for it. But this is not a meta-defining card by any means. It is a meta-defining card with this is maybe the most popularity I've seen. Second Dinner is selling season passes like gangbusters. It's Thanos. He's got a gun. People still have their fond memories of Thanos when the MCU was still good. I have not followed their output post Endgame. I still haven't even seen the Spider-Man with all the Peter Parkers. I've heard that's great. I like Thunderbolts. Sorry, this is not an MCU show. Let me know if there's any post Endgame MCU stuff I should really check out in the comments, though. I didn't like WandaVision. Liked Thunderbolts. Liked what's it called? Multiverse of Madness. I like that quite a bit. I just said this isn't an MCU podcast, and I'm like, let me talk about what this is. But Thanos Fractured Frontier. This is my favorite card they've released all year. Probably just full stop. I love the design of this. I love how much they have clearly learned from their mistakes with like how easy it was to replicate and throw out a Sholau, how easy it was to replicate and throw out multiple Star-Lords, Mother Ascani, Fin Fang Fooms. The only way you're really copying this is with Wong. It lifts up so many other decks. If you're watching this and you're like collection level 1000, you got to pick this guy up. Like this can just elevate anything that you're doing. And if and when, it's probably more of a when they nerf this guy, I think they're still going to find ways to keep him relevant, because they can nerf any of his shots. They can nerf the numbers on him. They don't need to like nerf Absorbing Man. There's none of that. They certainly don't need to nerf Wong. As much as like you can see some crazy clips of Wong going off, that is a pretty hard combo to actually pull off. So it's not something you have to be super afraid of. That specific thing. You have to be very afraid of Thanos Fractured Frontier. I love this. It is like the inverse of Star-Lord. You have to take a lot of game actions. You need to be playing lower the ground stuff. Like, I wonder if there's a way to do Merlin werewolf stuff here. Maybe, but like you don't draw. Merlin does the spells, don't the skills. Never gonna call them skills. They're always gonna be spells. Like, I feel like, sorry for the tangents, but if you made it this far, you're here for the rambling. If you've been playing since the beginning, do you remember we called everything like pools, like pool 1, pool 2, pool 3, and then like in the video, you could still probably find it. The December 2022 update video, which is still maybe like the biggest update they've done when they introduced Series 4 and Series 5. Ben Brode was actually said something like, you guys call it pools, but we actually call them series. Like, they were clearly bothered by like not using their proper branding. And I feel like we eventually like we call them series now. Like, it's been so long, but like, I feel like that idea of like, we're all calling it the wrong thing has just not transferred over to skills. Like, I listened to podcasts earlier this week. We're like, oh, spells. Like, everybody calls them spells. It doesn't help that like Agamotto debuted them and like he's not using equipment. Like, those are very clearly like spells. And then Merlin was the foremost, like, before all his nerfs, was like the best card at the end of last year, and he's doing spells. So yeah, that's fun. Thanos, though, you got to get him. He's amazing. This is such an incredibly powerful card. And if you're free to play and you don't want to spend money, head over to my X profile. You can find it on my YouTube page. And I'm doing a giveaway every week, and one winner is going to be getting a season pass. You can head over to there to see how to enter. I know X, blah, 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 Elon Musk. You don't have to follow him. There's a great Snap community over there. Check it out if you want to see some more rambling from me and be entered to win some season passes. We already talked about the list for him, but yeah, I will say, like, this was the list I really mained here. I'm just going to tab back over to this one, but this list has really, really surprised me. The Kraglin one, I might do a deck guide on that. Just might. Let me know what you think about that. Last but certainly not least, Jane Foster Fractured Frontier. This is a card that a lot of people were low on, kind of the inverse of what happened with Psylocke Fractured Frontier. Almost a 41% popularity. People shelled out to the Super Premium Season Pass, clearly. Or they use their tokens in the series, the seasonal packs. I did that. I think people were concerned. You look at all the different 3-drops we have that are great. You got Wilson Fisk, or just like stat 6. You got Wilson Fisk. People like to tote Kraglin. Even Luna Snow is the 3/6 that ramped. There's so many good 3s to follow up into, let's say, an Iron Patriot. Your Star Brands and your Techno-Organic Virus stuff. But it's like, oh, Jane, like, yeah, she's a 3/8, but you and the opponent need to have a certain amount of cards on the board, and it kind of spreads. Turns out this card is just really dang good, and the quick draw doesn't even matter as much, and especially because she is an extremely powerful finisher in the, or alternative finisher in the Thanos Show Lao list, where, for example, if you do the Thanos combo and get the 3 Wongs on the board and you move your Thanos out of there, you can just throw a Jane Foster in there and have her on reveal proc 4 times, and like, that's honestly enough of a closer, and she's at like 3 or 2 energy because of or maybe even freaking 0 cost if Thanos, you had a green shot go off a bunch. It's incredible. She's awesome. She is like a Wilson Fisk-esque card, and I can the season. I always say, like, this, like, the season pass, that like if you're going to spend anything in Marvel Snap, that is the place to spend it. We're kind of regardless of the power on that. Like, doing that is typically if you are judicious with your completing your missions, spending your tokens over time, buying the season pass is going to help you like become collection complete. That is the place to spend and focus if you're going to do that at all. Jane is definitely worth it. I don't know if she's worth it for the super premium season pass on its own. I didn't even do that this season, and I'm a content creator and I have all the cards. I use my tokens for it, but she's not going to show up in your shop in the 6K thing. You do have to roll on these seasonal Series 5 packs, which can be an extra gamble. So yeah, there we're at for the metagame. What a wild start to the week. I've been having a ton of fun. I hit Infinite in the first 3 days. Check out the video from a few days ago on my channel if you want to see a rundown of the decks I used. And I've been loving it. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, become a channel member if you really want to help keep the lights on, join the Discord, every call to action imaginable. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Kicker of Elves, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.